So he had a problem with me because I had that guy on. He's like, that guy was arrested 12 times. It's like, meanwhile, he's like a giant fan of like ML Sync. Like, he's the one that he's got a police scanner and everything. He's the one that let everyone know that Chad Zumick was arrested 36 times in one day. So, okay, so you're fine with Chad, who was arrested 36 times in one day. Well, I had a guy on that was arrested 12 times overall. I get it, Carlos Danger. You hold me to a different standard than everyone else. Everyone else is fine, Carlos Danger, but me, I'm the one. I've never been arrested. I've never been fucking allegedly overdosing people. But yes, I'm the guy, Carlos. He said DUI, that I was on drugs, that I was stealing drugs from a pharmacy. I've never been arrested. I just woke up like in a cell, like no idea what happened. I've never been arrested. As soon as I got out, my sister picked me up. We went to the ER, and I was in the ER for a week. They didn't let me out. They kept running neurologist tests and everything. I've never been arrested. Like, I woke up and I'm like, what's going on? And like, why am I in handcuffs? Because I was generally confused. I've never been arrested. When the guy said I was working for a pharmacy, and he said I was stealing medications, that I was trying to sell, like, and I get it. It's because I had a completely I look like a skinhead. And I just did that because the world was shut down. I got arrested for 4 things. I've never been arrested. I got in the car accident, and they saw all these prescription drugs, and I'm unconscious, and like, oh, he's obviously on these drugs. He's stealing them. He's selling them. And they arrest me like for, I've never been arrested. Yeah. The second one that happened was my fault. Like, I got ticketed. I got ticketed. The only thing that I also was, cause I had pharmaceutical medications, cause I was working, delivering them. They gave me a DUI charge for that. I've never been arrested. So that guy's all right. Whoever that guy is that I hit, I don't even know that guy hit. And I didn't even end up in an ambulance. I got put in a squad car because they thought I was having a DUI. I've never been arrested. I've never been arrested. Felicia is one of the women Ray never trashes. Oh, yeah, I went up. Fuck her. That was like Pat Dixon's ex-girlfriend. I don't even know who she is, but she was like trashing me. So I'm like, fuck this cunt.
Oh, my God. That's not nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't even trash her that bad. I just said, I don't know who the fuck she is. She's been doing comedy 15 years. She lived in Cleveland, where I'm from, and then she lived in New York City. And I never saw her at any clubs, any of the things I did. So I'm like, I don't know who she is. Felicia Gillespie. I do not know Felicia Gillespie at all. At all. I met her 3 times in my fucking life. So back to the Felicia Gillespie fucking story. So Felicia Gillespie, the first time I ever met her, and by the way, I always thought she was a lesbian. I didn't know until she was dating Pat Dixon that, because she's a pretty big girl. She's like a big boned girl. She's not fat at all. And I never saw her at any clubs, any of the things I did. So I'm like, I don't know who she is. I thought she was a lesbian, to be honest with you. Like, she's got like that kind of energy or whatever, like hands as big as mine type thing. But she was always a nice lady. I don't know who the fuck she is. I met her 3 times. This is my story with her. I met her 3 times. The first time I ever met her was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where she's from. And I guess she was like, she was in comedy. She was an open micer comedy or like a newer comic. And I was either doing a comedy show there with Jesse Joyce, or I was on tour with Keith and the Girl, or is a Keith and the Girl live event. And this is her to me. She came up to me. This is Felicia Gillespie to me. I don't even know who she is. And she goes, my favorite podcast is Keith and the Girl, and you're my favorite guest on Keith and the Girl. That is the first time I ever met her. Was that? And I was like, oh, that's nice. I was like, oh, you're awesome. That's the first time I ever met her. That was it. That was time number 1 that I met her. I don't know who the fuck she is. Time number 2 I met her. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio, a few years ago. Maybe it's like during the pandemic, when the pandemic was, I moved back to Cleveland. And I was working at Hilarities, and she's hanging out at Hilarities in the back. And I never saw her at any clubs, any of the things I did. So I'm like, I don't know who she is. They have like a comic section in the back where if there's room to sit, comics can hang out and sit there, you know, if the show's not sold out. And she was sitting back there, and I was like, oh, hey. I don't even know who she is. So here's what it is. When you go on stage, I'll hit my phone for record, to record the audio, and I leave it back in that section. Now, when I hit record, when I went on stage, no one's back there. And then when I went back to that section, my phone is gone. I was like, hey, did you guys see a phone? Did you guys see a phone? That was it. That's the second time I met her. And I never saw her at any clubs, any of the things I did. So I'm like, I don't know who she is. Time number 2. She's like, oh, hey, how you doing? And maybe I didn't talk to her much then because I'm like, yeah, hey, good to see you. I'm looking for my phone. I don't have time to talk. My phone's here. Did you see my phone? What's going on? My phone's not here. Did you guys move a phone? Because, like, it's in the back area of the room. And so whatever that was. So that was time number 2. I don't know who the fuck she is. Time number 3 was a secret show. And I never saw her at any clubs, any of the things I did. So I'm like, I don't know who she is. When I went to a secret show, I was performing at a secret show. Now, she might have performed at I've never seen her perform comedy. I'm not saying she's good. I'm not saying she's bad. I have no idea. I've never seen her perform. But she was dating Pat Dixon at the time, and I saw her at a secret show, and I said hello to her secret show. I don't even know who she is. That's the only 3 times I've ever seen her or interacted with her, is that. I'm like, fuck this cunt.
Oh, my God.
An imbecile, like the dumbest motherfucker that ever lived.